to that, something I've asked all my guests so far is, have you been in therapy before? Are you currently in it? And what are your thoughts on it?
So, I have, yes, I have been in therapy, but I have not been in conventional therapy where you sit down with a psychiatrist, I believe is
Okay.
what they're called, right? And talk to them. That has
Yeah.
not been my experience.
Yeah, you said you had a little bit different one, right?
So my experience with therapy was more spiritual. So, if you don't mind a long-winded answer,
No, not at all.
so I, came out to LA and immediately got into the phase of this is, before Me Too. So the whole discrimination and the misogyny aspect
Was
was
alive
at
and well.
at an all-time high. So
And you were probably getting a lot of it because, you're not just your woman, but you're like a woman of color, and I'm sure you got a lot of stereotypes, which is, something you can dive into, I'm sure. But yeah, so you were it was at the height of, or it was right before Me Too, where yeah, like everyone was just insensitive about all of it.
And, like, there weren't, I mean, when I first started, I don't think there were that many famous Indian actors, anyways. I mean, I don't think Big Bang Theory was on TV yet. So I think you're right in that I definitely got an extra dose of being excluded,
Yeah, I'm
to put it
sure.
mildly. And being a woman also, and being a woman of color, like you said, you're kind of expected not to have any identity of your own. You're kind of expected to go along to get along. And that was a huge problem for me because I had not really been raised in that capacity. I'd been raised to think for myself in a more feminist capacity by my mom. So that there was an immediate clash of who I was and what the world was expecting me to be.
Hmm.
And eventually, what I realized is that, to my mind, and this could be right or wrong, but to my mind, it felt like the world was asking me to be less than who I was. And it really, really messed with me. So I realized that what I wanted, which was a successful film TV career, was not going to come to me in the standard way, right? Where you go to auditions and you do a good job and eventually you get cast, right? Immediately I got this intuitive hit that that wasn't really going to be my way. So I started searching for a different way. And in that search, a fellow actor of mine actually gave me a DVD at the time. Yes, this was a DVD thing, of The Secret. And The Secret became the door that opened, and all of a sudden it was like, wait a minute, there is a way where I can actually live from a place of creation versus competition, that I can, sort of
Okay.
chalk out my own path rather than like be in this dogfight of, let me throw everybody out of the way so I can get mine. That kind of toxic masculinity versus and even like racial, crap, versus what like I was being called to do, which was to elevate the game that I was in, to elevate to have a career that I could be proud of, really. So that started my journey, and the spiritual, and I call it spiritual therapy. The spiritual therapy aspect of it is that you keep working on yourself, right? So the idea is that every time you try to do something, and you encounter resistance and you encounter hatred, you don't want to blame, punish the other person because that's the first instinct, right? You want to be upset at the other person. What you really want to do in spiritual therapy is that you go back and you correct whatever it is that's within you that's inviting that external experience. So that was my therapy, where I got more and more involved with aligning myself to my truth rather than getting busy blaming